Fire away, fire away. Hey, Chris, how did we do at halftime? Good. They showed it? All right, good job. Junior journalism right here. Chris, you want to ask the first one? Go ahead. What's the first question? Do you have a question? Ask any question that you want to ask. This is the big stage now. Anything. Just ask anything. Whatever. Ask me anything that comes to your mind.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is a combination of black and red. How about that? That's a pretty good one, right? That's pretty good. All right. Who's up?
Coach.
Yes.
No, take it. Coach, after every touchdown, you guys did almost all but one 2-point conversions, and then just about all squib kicks. Can you tell me if there's something wrong with Mark Lewis or what?
Yeah. I tell you what. This is when you talk about adversity, and you talk about the character that's on this team. Mark Lewis all week was dealing with an injury. I'll leave it at that. And the communication with the docs was great. I mean, nobody put us out in a bad position to fail. Mark's communication was great. I think he overexerted himself in warm-ups, and I had someone come up to me along with Mark that said that there was a possibility he won't be able to kick this afternoon or this evening. No panic. That's not what this is about. It's not time to panic. The first thing that went in my mind is that Tanner Varner is our backup kicker. Just like we have a third quarterback and a backup long snapper and a second holder and a DB that can play wide receiver. This is what you do in Arena Football League. So we said, you know what? Let's just go for 2 every single time. So the fact that Mark Lewis was injured and was still able to do kickoffs and still able to hit that last extra point because he needed to do it, and how about that bar ball at the end that we almost got back, shows just how much he toughed it out. But we told the team, I said, look, here's a situation. One of your family members is going through a tough time. Can you rise up and can you step up to the challenge? And they did that to him, and there was no panic. And so we started doing onside kicks. We started to kind of mix it up and just be creative. And it's my job to put these guys in the best position possible. And if one guy goes down, the other guys step up. And I couldn't have been more proud for the way they handled that.
Coach, what was the dialogue like between you and Mark when he had to go in to make that game tying PAT?
Oh, it was easy. It was easy. I said, Mark, can you do it? He said, absolutely. He said, absolutely. I think also too with the demeanor of the people around you as coaches, we don't panic. There's never a panic in my bone. I'm never anxious. Even last week, I try to stay as humble as possible. But look, I got ice in my veins. It's just the way I grew up, and it's the way that I developed into a coach. That it will always be okay. There was always an answer. There's always, we talk about in practice, there's always an emergency number, a panic situation that you can, if it's going to the desk for a tornado, if it's batten down the hatches for a hurricane. There's something that you can do statistically to put yourself in the best position. And so when we came up to Mark, I said, can you do this, yes or no? And he looked dead at me and said, absolutely, I can. And we didn't hesitate. We threw him right out there. And that was the first snap, the first hold, and the first extra point that we had all game. And the fact that it was clean shows what kind of guys we have on this team.
Coach, can you talk about what was going on the sidelines after you guys went down 21-0?
That's a great question. At 21-0, you'd like to think that there's panic. You'd like to think that there is something wrong. We literally have in our playbook, as far as how we're going to attack situations where we've practiced for, we've only been practicing for about 3 or 4 weeks now, but 3 of those days have been an entire day dedicated to being down by a lot of points. And what are the steps that you do? And it's just like basketball. It's a possession game. So I can't get all my points in one drive. I can't get 21. There's not a 21-point play. So how do you go about this? And so just like basketball, if you're down by 21 points in basketball, how do you whittle away, a long deficit, a large deficit? And so, hey, you score, you get a stop, you score, you get a stop, and that's easy. But it's patience. It's let the game come to you. Don't go outside of the game. Don't have everybody do their assignment and you try to do everybody's assignment at once. It's have faith in the man next to you, have faith in what is being called. And so, literally, it's the plane is going down and everybody in the airplane is calm. That's what kind of team we have, and that's the only way that the ship and the plane and everything's going to be righted. And I couldn't be more proud that there was no negativity. There was nobody pointing fingers. There was not a moment in my mind that I didn't believe we're going to win this football game. When you're doing this long enough, it's going to happen. I can't control the way the ball bounces. I can't do that. But you can statistically put yourself in a position to get yourself out of that hole, and I think that's what we did tonight.
Coach, I'm going to throw myself under the bus here because I, as you probably know, have been pretty hard on the team.
It's okay.
You come in this year. You're the new coach. You're moving to a new arena. You bring in a whole bunch of guys. You basically clear out most of the team from last year. Doesn't look anything like the Orlando Predators that we've known from the past. And yet that atmosphere felt like '08, felt like back in the old jungle. How in the heck did you put this together?
Very carefully. Very carefully. And I appreciate you saying that. No, I'm not here to prove people wrong. That's not what I'm here to do. I think criticism, or as the kids would say, haters, I mean, that's a good thing because, you don't want to have everybody believe that you're going to be great all the time. So how do you focus and stay humble and you focus on the task at hand, and that's one game at a time. But again, statistics say that if I put myself in a position of success, we're going to be good. And how you do that? We made 14 trades in the offseason. I think 11 and 26 in the last 2 years is extremely unacceptable. But what I noticed is the fans, yes, they were upset they weren't winning, but they were still supportive. That's a really good thing. The fact that you can go 7-11 last year and still have that many fans come to the last game says a lot about this fan base. They're loyal, but they do want a winner. And then you have an ownership group, and you have front office workers that maybe didn't know what it took to win. And so we brought a lot of different people from behind the scenes to interns, to coaching staff, to players, to front office staff, and you have to put yourself around winners. And I think you have to invest yourself in the employees. And so what we did was, how do we go out and find this? We called other teams, game day operations from San Antonio, director of player personnel from Utah, and these kind of things have culminated in greatness even outside of the field, in the front office and in behind the scenes. And so with the players, I wanted winners, and I wanted leaders, and I wanted confident people. And how do you find that? Well, we looked in the backgrounds, we did our background checks. Every single person on our team at one point was a captain of their college team. And it's a little known fact about what we have going on. But these guys understand how to be good leaders and good followers. And tonight, whoever number is called, they're going to support that person. And I think we got a wake-up call early. And how we put this team together, to answer a long story short, is with passion. And I think you can see that on the field. And I think that is it's permeating through this organization as we speak.
Coach, this is the first time the team started 2-0 since 2011. Just what are your assessments of your team so far this early in the season?
Well, we're still young. And when I say young, I guess I don't say experience-wise, but we're still making young mistakes. There's no need to get upset and push somebody back. I mean, it takes a strong man not to push someone back. And we're getting caught up in the PIs and the personal fouls and late hits and all this kind of stuff. Last week we had four penalties for 16 yards. That showed discipline, that showed responsibility against a very good Jacksonville team. This week, I mean, it was more penalties than I've ever seen in the first half. Ref alluded to that. Obviously, LA was a little irritated at their guys. We got to watch that stuff. But again, the fact that we have so many mistakes, dropping balls, missed assignments, delay of games, out of position, the fact that we can win ball games with all that going on, when we start cleaning this stuff up, I think we're really going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I think there's a fine line of cockiness and confidence where we do believe in the talent that we have. Now we just got to harness that and make sure that they become the players that we believe they can be.
Coach, you said the team's full of passion. I mean, everyone can see it. That starts with you as a coach. I mean, has this always been in you, like this passion? Like when you were a player, go back, just everything.
Yeah, this is no caffeine. This is no Red Bull. This is just who I am. I definitely get it from my mother. It got to a point, not to go too deep into it, but why not me? And it got to a point where you see, every time I talk to the kids, and when you see people on TV, well, they grew up just like you. And so if you want to have this lifestyle, if you want to be a particular person, there are steps that you need to take. And so, I realized that I had to find something that I absolutely just loved, and I had to just give my all to it. I've lost 25 pounds. I'm on my third place living in Orlando in the last 3 months. Whatever the sacrifice is, we're going to get the job done. I think the players see that. And when the player sees a coach filling up water bottles, or when the players see a coach give up his seat on the bus for a player, or when we do take a plane flight and I sit in the middle instead of the front, the first class seat, and I give it to my player that deserves it, and I go sit between 200 and 400 pounders, and my life is ruined for the next 3 hours. They see that. They see that we will do anything for them, and I know for a fact that it's not something that is tangibly, you can't grasp, but I know that's what pushes them at the end. I know that what gives them that extra inch. I know that's what gives them the extra burst. And we're not afraid to sell all out. And so we have a sign on in our locker room that says "Live with Passion." So no matter what you do, you got to be all in. You got to be fully invested. And I think the guys are really, really buying in.
How were you feeling with the sudden death overtime and what was going through your head when you got that interception?
Elated. The reason why I act the way I do is because we work. I think Tanner alluded to it. We work so hard, and that's not every play that they ran, we saw on film, or we went back into. And it's not a knock on Chicago, but you got to do your research. And I say Chicago because they were the Chicago staff last year. Coach Cy Burley, who is now with me as an offensive coordinator, was their offensive coordinator last year in Chicago. Well, before they had Cy Burley as their offensive coordinator when they were in Chicago, it was the same coaching staff. So we went back into 2012 film. You know, what did they do? Who are they? You look at how 3 of those receivers were all on 3 different teams last year. We studied that film. We studied J.J. Radar, who's the quarterback at L.A., in Iowa, when he was in Iowa last year. And so you put all this stuff together. And so for me, when we got that pick, I realized that they completely understood everything that we were teaching them. And they believe in us. They believe when I say go left, they go left. When I say put your hands up, put your hands up. And so when you have all that done, it makes you feel like a proud parent. But at the same time, you're so overwhelmingly happy that that player has experienced success. And so for me, when we lose, it's all my fault. I'll be the first one in here to say I could have done this better. There's a lot of things I could have done better at that game. But when we win, it's all because of them, and I think they really appreciate that. So it was pure joy to see them be successful tonight.
All right, last question.
War on I-4 next week, Coach?
Yeah, did they win tonight? Did I know?
They were losing in the third quarter.
Okay, losing in the third quarter. Totally respect the organization of Tampa Bay. You know, I'm a historian of this league too. You know, I've been doing this for a little bit, even though I'm younger. Definitely do my research, do my history. Was at Tim Markham's funeral with the TM Pim here, and just know when you talk about all this history behind this. I want to give both sides a show. I want to make sure that both fans recognize that we do care about the sport. I think if we can get this rivalry back on track, I think it's going to do wonders for the national circuit. I think it's going to do wonders for this league. And I think Coach Samuels and Derek Brooks are doing an excellent job putting a team together. So it's the first of many. I hope we come out victorious. But, you know, there are steps. There are steps to take. The first thing right now is, you know, let these guys celebrate. And tomorrow we start the rehab. We start the ice bathing. We start the film breakdown. We make sure that we recover properly, and then we take the proper steps to get a victory. But War on I-4, I think, is going to mean a lot more this year because both teams are going to be damn good.
Thanks, Coach.